Welcome to the realm where excuses die and only the relentless survive, where mediocrity is a death sentence and greatness isn't given, it's taken. This isn't a game for the faint-hearted or the soft-minded. This is the battleground where your actions are indictments, where every move you make is scrutinized not by the world's approval, but by the unforgiving law of your own potential. This ain't talent. No, talent is a lie sold to the lazy. What you just did, it's a federal crime because you executed with a precision and a coldness that leaves no room for mercy, no space for error. You bodied that SHT too clean, and that's what terrifies the complacent. That's what shakes the foundation of the ordinary and shatters the illusions of the mediocre. You became the nightmare for anyone who doubted you. See, in this world, being good enough isn't enough. It never was, and it never will be. You didn't just perform. You annihilated every expectation, every limitation, every whisper of doubt that tried to cage you. That level of execution, ruthless, unrelenting, precise, that's a crime against the natural order of things. Because society wants you to crawl, to settle, to accept scraps. But you didn't crawl. You didn't settle. You didn't take scraps. You moved like a force of nature, uncontested, undeniable, and utterly lethal. That kind of dominance is illegal in the court of average, and you've just been convicted. The verdict? You are a predator in a world of prey. Let me tell you something real. Talent? Talent is a myth perpetuated by those who fear hard work, those who hide behind luck and circumstance. Talent is the excuse of the weak. What you did was a calculated, deliberate act of destruction against every obstacle that stood between you and your victory. You sharpened your mind, honed your skills, and when the moment arrived, you struck with the precision of a scalpel, slicing through flesh. No hesitation, no mercy. That was no accident. That was a choice. The choice to be better, stronger, faster, smarter. And that choice? That's what makes legends. That's what separates the ghosts from the giants. And here's the truth no one wants to admit. When you're this ruthless, this clean in your execution, you become a threat. People fear what they don't understand. They fear the way you move through life with such unyielding focus, such impenetrable confidence. You aren't just breaking the mold, you're smashing it into oblivion and building something new with the pieces. This is a revolution, and you're the insurgent. The status quo? It's terrified. The naysayers? They're silenced. Because you've shown them that limits are illusions, that boundaries exist only to be crossed, shattered, and rewritten. But don't get comfortable. This isn't a victory lap. It's a declaration of war. Every time you rise like this, executing with that criminal-level precision, you raise the stakes. The world expects more, demands more. And you have to deliver. Not because it's easy, but because you've set the precedent. You've proven that you don't just participate, you dominate. And domination isn't a one-time thing. It's a lifestyle, a mindset, a relentless pursuit of the edge where others collapse. It's about being so good, so clean, so precise, that the mere act of competing feels like a violation, a federal crime against the natural order. You've made a statement with your actions that can never be erased. You're not here to play by the rules. You're here to rewrite them. You're not just part of the game. You're the reason the game changes. And with that power comes responsibility. The responsibility to stay sharp when everyone else dulls, to stay hungry when everyone else is full, to stay brutal when everyone else softens. Because the moment you relax, the system fights back. The moment you hesitate, the opportunity disappears. The moment you stop being the outlaw, in a world of law-abiding, the greatness you've claimed will be stolen. This ain't talent. This is a calculated rebellion. A systematic dismantling of everything that told you to be less. It's the cleanest strike in a war that's never over. And it demands respect, fear, and relentless pursuit from every challenger that dares stand in your way. You're not just good, you're a force of nature. You're not just a threat, you're an indictment. You didn't just win. You bodied that SAT too clean. Now, it's time to ask yourself, how far are you willing to go to keep this streak alive? How many boundaries will you obliterate? How many limits will you smash to dust before you're satisfied? Because this level of dominance isn't just rare, it's a burden. It demands everything you have, and then some. It demands nights without sleep, sacrifices that no one sees, pain that no one hears. But it also demands glory, because when you operate at this level, you don't just change your story, you change the stories of everyone who watches you. They will tell tales of how you shattered expectations, how you took what was meant to hold you back and made it your weapon, how you turned every doubt into fuel, every obstacle into a stepping stone, every challenge into a conquest. They will speak of the ruthless precision with which you dismantled every barrier, the clean, cold efficiency of your rise. You won't just be remembered, you'll be feared, respected, and revered. But remember, the darkest paths are never easy. The sharper your edge, the more blood it takes to maintain it. The higher you rise, the heavier the crown, and the lonelier the throne. But that's the price of supremacy, the price of being so clean, so precise, so lethal, that your very existence disrupts the balance. This ain't for the timid. This ain't for the faint. This ain't talent. This is the making of a force that cannot be ignored, a force that leaves a mark so deep it scars the very fabric of the world around it. So, embrace the darkness that fuels you. Embrace the cold clarity of your mission. Embrace the crime you commit every time you step up, and show the world what it really means to be unstoppable. Because you didn't just perform, you bodied that too clean. And that, my friend, is a sentence with no parole. When you realize this isn't talent, it's something far more sinister. Something that terrifies the comfortable. Something that doesn't just break rules but rewrites them in your favor. You begin to understand the weight of what you carry. The world will never hand you respect. You take it. The world will never acknowledge your grind. You force it. You become the anomaly that disrupts the narrative, the anomaly that forces a new conversation. This is no longer about being better than the competition. This is about being on a different plane altogether. A plane where precision is law, where hesitation is fatal, and where anything less than absolute domination is unacceptable. You bodied that too clean because you refused to settle for average. You refused to be a footnote in someone else's story. You decided long ago that you would be the headline, the verdict, the sentence that no one can escape. And that kind of clarity is brutal. It isolates. It demands sacrifices that are invisible to the casual observer. It demands days turned into nights without pause, pain turned into fuel, setbacks turned into setups. Because this level of execution isn't an accident, it's an obsession, a hunger that gnaws at your bones until you either submit or you conquer. And you chose conquest, every damn time. But here's the catch. The higher you climb, the more precarious the ledge, the more vicious the backlash. Because when you move with that kind of lethal intent, you don't just disrupt the game, you threaten the very foundation on which others have built their comfort zones. And comfort zones are defended fiercely. They're protected by doubt, by fear, by jealousy, by every excuse people cling to in order to avoid the grind you embraced. You are the nightmare in their narrative, the inconvenient truth that no one wants to face. And that makes you dangerous. That makes you criminal in the eyes of the complacent. You see, this is the paradox of true mastery. To be so clean, so ruthless, so precise in your execution that it feels illegal, is to accept the burden of being misunderstood, envied, and hunted. But it's also to accept the crown of being unstoppable, revered, and immortalized. You become the blueprint for those who refuse to settle, the standard for those who dare to rise. And with that crown comes a responsibility that few can bear, the responsibility to never rest, to never falter, to never let the world catch up, because the moment you ease up, the world will devour you. The moment you hesitate, the opportunity will slip through your fingers. The moment you stop being the executioner of your own destiny, you become the victim. That's why this ain't talent. Talent is a crutch for the unprepared. Talent is the comfort zone for the unwilling. What you did was cold calculation, relentless discipline, and unyielding focus. You dissected the challenge with surgical precision and crushed it with a force that no one saw coming. That kind of execution is the hallmark of a predator, not a player. You didn't just participate in the moment, you dominated it. And domination is a crime against mediocrity. It's an offense that demands respect, fear, and awe. Let this sink in. When you move like this, when you execute with that level of clean brutality, you become an outlaw in a world of law-abiding drones. You become the disruption, the chaos that forces change. You become the reason the rules are rewritten, and that means you carry a weight no one else can bear. Because excellence at this level isn't sustainable without sacrifice. It's not built on comfort or ease. It's forged in the furnace of relentless pressure, relentless challenge, relentless self-mastery. You've chosen a path that few given. It's stolen. It's taken. It's executed with ruthless precision. You bodied that too clean, and that means the world will never see you the same way again. Neither should you. The clean execution you embody is a fortress, built brick by brick with sweat and sacrifice. It's a wall no one else can scale because they're unwilling to endure the grind it demands. This ain't talent. Talent is soft. Talent is a whisper. What you have is a roar, a roaring storm that drowns out every doubt and every excuse that ever tried to hold you back. That roar is forged from countless moments where you chose discipline over comfort, pain over ease, struggle over surrender. And those moments, they pile up until they form an unbreakable shield around your spirit. But understand this, that shield is forged in fire, the fire of loneliness, the fire of rejection, the fire of relentless pressure. When you're this sharp, this precise, you become a target, not just for competition, but for everyone who fears the disruption you represent. They'll try to knock you down with doubt, envy, and resistance. They'll whisper lies to try and fracture your resolve. But you stand immovable. You are the storm, and storms don't ask permission to rage. Every time you move with that ruthless clarity, every time you bodied that too clean, you rewrote your limits. You made the impossible your playground and the doubters your audience. You didn't just perform, you executed with a cold precision that left no margin for error. That level of mastery is a crime against mediocrity. It's a declaration that you will not be confined, you will not be broken, you will not be controlled. You own your power and you wield it like a weapon. The price for that power is high. It's sleepless nights where your mind won't rest, because the hunger to be better never fades. It's sacrifices unseen, relationships strained, pleasures forgone, comfort traded for challenge. You walk a path where every step forward is fought for, where every win is earned in blood, sweat, and grit. But you don't complain because this isn't a burden. It's a calling. It's the undeniable truth that greatness demands more than mere talent. It demands everything. You bodied that too clean because you refused to be average, because you understood that talent without relentless effort is like a blade without an edge, useless, dull, forgotten. You chose to sharpen yourself every day, to push through pain, to rise when others fall, to fight when others quit. That choice is your crime. A crime against the status quo, a rebellion against complacency, a coup against every limit they tried to impose on you. This is where legends live, in the shadows of relentless pursuit, in the trenches of constant battle, in the silence where no one watches but the warrior fights on. You are that warrior. the one who moves with ruthless intent, who leaves no room for error, who takes what's theirs with cold precision. And the world will try to catch up, but it never will. Because this ain't talent, this is a federal crime, and you committed it with a clean strike that no one can touch. Now, steel yourself. The journey isn't over. The war isn't won. Every victory is a new target on your back. Every conquest a new challenge waiting in the shadows. You must keep moving, keep striking, keep bodied that too clean, because only those who refuse to rest become immortal. Only those who live by the law of ruthless precision carve their names into eternity. You've seen the truth. You've tasted the power. Now, live it every day. Carry it like a weapon. Sharpen it like a blade. Unleash it like a storm. Because this ain't talent. This is domination. This is the making of a force the world can't ignore. You bodied that too clean. And that, my friend, is just the beginning. They told you to be humble. They told you to be careful. They told you to play fair, to stay safe, to be predictable. But tell me, when has greatness ever been predictable? When has innovation ever obeyed? You weren't made to fit into boxes. You were made to crush them. You weren't born to be understood. You were born to be studied, an outlier, a living contradiction, unreasonable, unshakable, unrelenting. Because when the world handed you their version of success, you looked at it and said, not enough. Let me be real with you. Anyone can try. Anyone can show up. That's easy. That's standard. But very few can endure. Very few can stare down discomfort so long, it starts blinking first. Very few can master silence like you did. The silence of early mornings, of empty rooms, of invisible progress. That's what makes you dangerous. That's what makes you different. Because you learn to perform without applause, to improve without approval, to evolve without announcement. You didn't wait for permission. You made a move. This is why the word clean means something different for you. This isn't about finesse. This isn't about style. This is about precision. This is about knowing exactly what to cut, exactly what to keep, and exactly how to execute so ruthlessly that not even doubt had time to speak. Clean, for you, is a weapon. Clean is clarity. Clean is discipline turned into outcome. You didn't just survive chaos, you tamed it. And you did it with such calm, such presence, that people questioned if you even struggled. That's how smooth you made the storm look. And here's the part no one talks about, the in-between. The nights where the reward was nowhere in sight. The mornings where your body said stop and your mind said go. The quiet wins, the invisible growth, the lonely excellence. While others were comparing themselves to noise, you were building in the silence. While they were chasing attention, you were chasing alignment. That's why what you've done can't be replicated. Because you didn't just change the game, you trained for a game no one else even knew existed. Think about this. People will try to follow your path, but they won't last because they weren't there for the price. They didn't see the toll. They didn't feel the sacrifice that sat behind your eyes. They don't know the cost of moving the way you do. They'll say you're lucky, but you'll know that what they call luck was just discipline, repackaged. They'll say it looks easy, but you'll know that ease is the reward of repetition and refinement. You didn't just work, you built muscle memory in your soul. That's why you move different. That's why you stand out, even when you're quiet. So when they ask how you did it, don't flinch. Don't soften your story to make them comfortable. Don't shrink your grind to fit their limits. Tell them the truth. You refuse to fold. You refuse to fade. You refuse to settle for almost. You looked failure in the face and kept building. You took every no and turned it into raw material. And most of all, you kept coming back, again and again and again, until what was once impossible bowed before your persistence. And now, you're not just a person anymore. You're proof. Proof that the myth of natural talent dies in the face of relentless execution. Proof that even in a world full of distractions, someone can choose obsession over comfort. Proof that legacy doesn't come from having a gift, it comes from giving everything. But let's take this higher now, because the real you, the evolved version, they aren't satisfied with one win. They aren't attached to the past. They're looking forward. They're hungry, not for attention, not for praise, but for more weight to carry. They don't fear pressure. They crave it, because pressure is the currency of transformation. The greater the pressure, the greater the proof. And you're walking evidence. You've become a mirror. People look at you and see what they could be if they were willing to pay the same price. Some will be inspired. Others will be threatened. That's okay. Not everyone's built for this frequency. Not everyone's meant to understand the silence you operate in. You speak a different language now. The language of resilience, of consistency, of excellence. And not everyone's fluent in that. So keep walking with that quiet confidence. Keep showing up with that subtle fire. You don't need to yell. Your presence speaks loud enough. Your track record is louder than any shout. Because this journey, it's not just about doing something once. It's about becoming someone who does it every time. This isn't about being a one-hit wonder. This is about being a legacy builder. This is about being the reason the rules changed, the reason the standard rose, the reason clean no longer means easy, it means elite. So if you're looking around right now, wondering what's next, let me tell you, next is deeper, next is harder, next is better. And that's exactly what you're built for. You've already proven you can do what others called impossible. Now you get to do what you once feared. Now you get to chase the edge of your own potential. You get to see how far this machine can go. And when you hit the wall, you won't stop. You'll smile. Because you remember what happened last time. Last time they doubted. Last time they minimized. Last time they didn't see you coming. And then you bodied it, too clean. Now they know. Now they watch differently. Now they whisper your name with respect. But don't let that soften you. Don't let that slow you. Let it remind you that the world underestimated you once, and they may do it again. Let that be your fuel. Let that be your fire. Let that be the reason you go again, sharper than before. So I'll leave you with this. You are the proof that extreme ownership changes everything. You are the result of days that broke you but didn't stop you. You are the product of decisions made in private that the public will never understand. You are a force of will, a master of execution, a blueprint for what happens when someone refuses to give up. You've been dancing to their tune for far too long, haven't you? Giving them the satisfaction of predictability, of knowing exactly what move you'll make next. They've scripted your role, directed your every step, confident you'd never deviate from the path they set for you. They thought they understood, you didn't. They believed they could control the narrative, as if you were nothing more than a pawn on their board. Every action you took was measured. Every word you spoke was analyzed. Every silence you held was dissected until you became a shadow of the person you truly are. But there was always something inside of you, something they couldn't account for, something they couldn't predict, something deeper than their shallow expectations of who you were. This was always meant to be your story, your destiny, and you were never meant to be a bystander in someone else's script. Now the time has come to rewrite it, to shatter their illusion, and show them that you are not their creation. You are not the reflection of their desires. You are the architect of your own fate. You delivered a plot twist. They'll remember forever. You broke free from the chains of their expectations and changed the game in ways they never saw coming. The truth is, they never understood the power you held within you. They thought you were just a part of their predictable world, but you were a storm, building up, a force that couldn't be contained, hidden beneath the surface. You were carefully calculating your moment of freedom, letting them believe that they had everything figured out about you, so they could never anticipate the eruption of your potential. When it came time to strike, they were caught off guard, their control slipping through their fingers like sand. You stepped out of the shadows and into the light, revealing your true self, unleashing the strength that had been building inside of you all along. Their arrogance blinded them to the truth. They believed they were the ones pulling the strings, but they never realized you were the one waiting for the moment to take them by surprise. And you did with a brilliance they never saw coming. Now let them look at you and tremble, because you delivered something more than just a change. You delivered a revolution in their minds, a challenge to their reality, a destruction of their comfort zone. They thought they knew who you were, but now they're forced to confront the fact that they were wrong about everything they thought was certain about you. Their plans shattered, their expectations ruined, their confidence broken by the force of your will. They are left reeling, scrambling to put the pieces back together while you stand firm, unshaken, knowing that the game has changed forever. And this time, it's on your terms. You didn't just break free, you broke the system. You didn't just defy their expectations, you redefined the rules. You didn't just surprise them, you made them question everything they thought they knew about you and themselves. You taught them a lesson in humility, a lesson in the danger of underestimating the quiet ones, the ones who are biding their time, the ones who wait for the right moment to strike. And when that moment comes, it's not just a shock, it's a revolution. One that shakes the foundations of everything they thought was stable. You made them realize that they were never the ones in control. You always were, from the very beginning. They were living in a false reality, one that they constructed from their own misconceptions and assumptions. But you knew better. You knew that there was more to you than they could ever comprehend. And now they are forced to face the truth. The truth that they never knew. You were capable of this kind of power, of this kind of brilliance, of this kind of transformation. They will never forget the moment you made your move, the moment you shattered their illusion and left them speechless. Because you delivered a plot twist they'll remember forever. This is not just your victory, it's a victory for anyone who has ever been underestimated, for anyone who has ever been told that they are too quiet, too weak, too small to make an impact. It's a victory for the ones who have been silenced by the world, for the ones who have been kept in the shadows, because they were never seen as a threat. It's a victory for all of those who have ever been forced to play a role that was never truly theirs. To begin with, you delivered the ultimate redemption, not just for yourself, but for all of those who have been overlooked, all of those who have been ignored, all of those who have been told they didn't matter, because they didn't fit into someone else's perfect little box. And now that you've shown them what you are truly capable of, they will never again make the mistake of thinking they can control you. They will never again believe they can predict your every move, your every step, your every breath, because you have proven that you are unpredictable, that you are a force to be reckoned with, and that no one, no matter how powerful or influential, is immune to the force of your will. You have stepped into your power and shown the world that you are no one's pawn. You are the king or queen of your own destiny. And now, they must live with the knowledge that they will never be able to anticipate what you do next. Never again will they be able to call the shots or manipulate your actions, because you've taken control of your own story. It's time to look back and laugh at how they tried to predict you, how they tried to mold you into something you were never meant to be. It's time to laugh at how they thought they could keep you in a box that you were never meant to fit into. You were never meant to be anyone's puppet. And now, you've shown them that not only were you capable of escaping their grip, but you were capable of something far greater. Something they couldn't even fathom, the power to change the game, to reshape the narrative, to completely rewrite the rules and leave them scrambling to catch up with you while you move forward, without hesitation, without fear, without doubt. Your plot twist wasn't just an act of rebellion, it was an act of creation. It wasn't just a surprise, it was a revelation. It wasn't just a shift in the story, it was a complete transformation of the way they see you and the way they see themselves. You've shown them that their understanding of you was built on lies, on assumptions, on a false sense of control. And now that they've seen your true potential, they will never be able to look at you the same way again. They will always wonder what you'll do next. Always be on edge, wondering if you'll deliver yet another plot twist that will turn their world upside down once again. They've been living in a world of comfort, a world where they believed they had all the answers, where they thought they knew everything there was to know about you and about the world. But now they know better, because you've shaken their foundations. You've turned their reality into dust and left them grasping at straws. They will never be able to predict you again, because you've shown them that your true power lies in your unpredictability, in your ability to break free from their constraints and create your own path. You've shown them that you are not bound by the limitations they tried to place on you. You are not defined by their expectations. You are limitless. And now they have no choice but to live with the knowledge that they were never truly in control of you. So as you stand here today, looking at the wreckage of their illusions, remember this: you delivered a plot twist. They'll remember forever, because you didn't just surprise them. You changed the course of the entire story. You didn't just break free. You set a new standard for what it means to be truly free. You didn't just make a move. You shifted the balance of power forever. And now you are the one writing the story. Now you are the one in control. Now you are the one who decides what happens next. Let them remember this moment. Let them remember the day you broke free. Let them remember the day they realized they had underestimated you. Because now, the world is yours for the taking, and nothing can stop you from making your next move. Even more unpredictable than the last, because you are no longer bound by their expectations, no longer confined to their script. You are the author of your own destiny, and your plot twist is just the beginning of something even greater, something they will never see coming. The world you once knew, the life they tried to impose upon you, is no longer yours. The very fabric of their assumptions about who you are has been torn to pieces. They thought they understood you, categorized you, boxed you in, labeled you, but you've shown them that no label will ever define you. You've revealed to them that you are not bound by their narrow definitions of success, strength, or potential. They tried to predict your next move, believing they had you figured out, but what they failed to see, what they could never have foreseen, was the depth of your resistance, your rebellion, not just against their control, but against the very idea that anyone could impose their will on your destiny. You are not a mere character in their plot. You are the author of your own story. And now that you've shown them what you're capable of, they will never view you through the same lens again. The impact of what you've done ripples outward. It's more than just a single action, more than just a bold gesture. It's a declaration of independence. It's a wake-up call to all who thought they could control you, all who thought they could dictate your place in the world. You've ripped through the illusion of their certainty, the walls they built around their assumptions about you. And in doing so, you've made them realize that they are no longer the masters of the story they once thought they wrote. This is your world now, and they are mere spectators to the incredible power that lies within you. They will try to make sense of it, try to piece together how you were able to escape their grip. But the answer is simple. You were never theirs to control. You have created a moment of uncertainty for them, a space where their influence is no longer absolute. You have disrupted their sense of order, and in doing so, you have made them question everything they thought they knew about power, control, and fate. They thought they were the ones pulling the strings, but you have shown them that true power lies in the ability to break free from the script they wrote for you, to forge your own path and step into the unknown with courage and purpose. And that is the moment they will never forget. Because what they didn't know, what they could never have understood, is that all along you were quietly building your power. You were watching, learning, observing their every move. You were taking stock of their weaknesses, of the cracks in their control. They were so consumed by their own belief in their dominance, so convinced that they had you cornered, that they couldn't see the inevitable change that was coming. And when it did come, it wasn't just a moment of defiance, it was a revelation. You weren't just playing the game. They were the ones caught in your web, trapped by the very predictability they assumed they could control. You didn't just move, you shifted everything. And in doing so, you revealed to them that the real power was always yours. They only thought they were in charge. But now, the world is wide open. Now, the game has changed. The narrative you once played, a passive role in, has become yours to shape. What they couldn't see, and what they may never come to fully understand, is the depth of your transformation. You didn't just break free, you evolved. You didn't just rebel, you reinvented yourself in ways that defy their comprehension. What they thought was a minor plot twist is actually a complete shift in the paradigm. This is no longer their story. It's yours, and with it, you have the power to create a future that is beyond their reach, beyond their wildest imaginations. And this transformation, this power, comes from the quiet strength you've cultivated over time. It comes from the resilience they never saw in you, the endurance that kept you moving forward, even when they believed you were broken, trapped, or defeated. They never realized that each time they tried to break you, they only made you stronger. Every slight, every whisper of doubt, every attempt to push you back into the shadows only fueled your fire. They thought they could weaken you, but instead, they were building the foundation for your rise. They were creating the conditions for your freedom, and they couldn't see it because they were too busy trying to control you. But in your silence, in your patience, you were preparing yourself for this moment, the moment when everything would shift and you would take control. And now that you have, the world will never be the same. They will never see you the same way again. The power you now possess is not just the power to defy them. It is the power to create, to build, to shape your destiny in ways they could never have predicted. What once seemed impossible to them now lies within your grasp. Your potential is limitless, your future unwritten. The path forward is yours to determine, and they will be forced to watch as you build a future on your terms, not theirs. Every move you make will be unpredictable. Every step you take a challenge to their assumptions. They will wonder how you did it, how you became the force they never expected, the person they could never control. They thought they knew you, they thought they had you figured out. But what they never realized is that you were always something more. You were always capable of more. They saw a puppet. You saw yourself as the master of your own fate. They thought they could use you as a stepping stone for their own ambitions. You realized you were never meant to be a stepping stone. You were meant to be the one who built the empire, the one who commanded the future. They tried to box you in, but you broke out of their cage, and in doing so, you revealed the true scope of your power. Now they are left to wonder, what comes next? What will you do next? How much more are you capable of? And the answer is this: you are capable of anything. The doors that were once closed to you are now wide open, and nothing, Nothing will stand in your way. But let them tremble, let them wonder, let them doubt. Because as they watch you rise, they will understand something they never anticipated. The plot twist was never just about escaping their control. It was about something much larger, much more profound. It was about showing the world, showing them that you are not just a player in their game. You are the creator of your own universe. You are not someone who simply reacts to circumstances. You are the one who shapes them. And now, as they look upon the chaos you've caused, the revolution you've sparked, they will understand that this was never about rebellion. This was about revelation. This was about showing them the power of a person who understands their own worth, their own strength, and their own ability to create a future that is beyond anyone else's control. This is only the beginning. They thought they saw your limits. They thought they saw where your journey ended. But you've shown them that there are no limits for you, no boundaries that will contain your potential. The world is vast, and you are ready to conquer it. You are ready to shape it, to bend it to your will, to create a future that bears your signature. They will never see it coming. They will never predict your next move, because now you are the one holding the pen. You are the one writing the story, and with every word, every chapter, every twist, you will make sure that they never forget who you are. You delivered a plot twist they'll remember forever. But this is only the beginning of the saga. The moment you broke free from their grasp, the moment you shattered their illusion, was not the peak. No, that was merely the spark, the initial crack in their fortress of certainty. What comes next will be the true testament to your strength, your vision, and your ability to rise above everything they ever tried to impose upon you. You've proven that you are not bound by their rules, their expectations, or their limitations. Now, the question is, what will you do with that freedom? What will you create with the immense power you've uncovered within yourself? The journey ahead is yours to define. You are no longer at the mercy of their whims. You are no longer a passenger in a story that was never yours to begin with. This is your narrative, and it's time to write it, chapter by chapter, with the precision and intensity of someone who knows exactly what they are capable of. There is a world out there, your world, that waits for you to step into it. A world that has been waiting for someone like you, someone who refuses to be kept down, someone who rises when the odds are stacked against them. They thought they knew who you were, who you would become, but they were wrong. They had no idea. They had no clue about the untapped power, the incredible depths of strength that lay dormant within you. They saw only what they wanted to see. They wrote you into a role, and when you failed to fit into that mold, they tried to bend you, break you, shape you into what they needed. But you have proved that you are not something to be molded, not something to be bent. You are something to be unleashed. You are not just another player on the field. You are the field itself, the force that redefines the game with every step you take. And now, as you stand at the threshold of what's to come, you must realize that this is not the end of your transformation. No, this is where it truly begins. This moment is where you take everything they tried to take from you, everything they thought they could control, and you turn it into something entirely new. You will show the world that your story isn't just a single plot twist. It is a legacy that will reverberate through time. The chapters ahead are yours to craft. You will not just overcome, you will create. You will not simply rise. You will reshape the world around you with every choice, every move, every word that leaves your lips. The old narrative is gone, and in its place, something entirely new and unimaginable will rise. A story of power, of transformation, and of the relentless pursuit of freedom. This is where the true test begins. It's one thing to break free, to escape the confines of their expectations. But what will you do with that newfound freedom? What will you create in a world that is now yours to shape. The choices you make in the coming days, months, and years will define the legacy of this moment. You have the power now, the tools, the wisdom, and the vision. And with that power comes the responsibility to ensure that the story you create is one that reflects your deepest truth, one that is true to who you are and what you stand for. The world will try to pull you back into the mold they once created for you. They will try to make you forget who you truly are, but you can never forget again. You have seen what you are capable of, and now it is time to let the world see it too. The real danger isn't in the external forces that once tried to control you. The real danger lies within yourself, the temptation to settle for mediocrity, the urge to slip back into the comfort of conformity. You must resist it at all costs. You must resist the urge to shrink back into a version of yourself that others find easier to handle. You are not meant to be small. You are not meant to be hidden. You were born to stand tall, to make your mark on this world in ways that no one could have ever predicted. Your potential is vast, and it is time for you to step fully into it. And as you do, there will be those who try to undermine you, those who will attempt to bring you back down to their level. They will be jealous of your freedom, of your strength, of the way you have rewritten your story. But let them watch as you rise, higher and higher, as you move with purpose, with fire, and with an unshakable belief in who you are and what you can accomplish. You are no longer a pawn in someone else's game. You are the master of your own destiny, and nothing will stop you now. They will try to convince you that this freedom is dangerous, that the world is not ready for the full force of your power. But what they fail to realize is that the world has been waiting for you. The world has been waiting for someone brave enough to step outside of the box, to challenge the status quo, and to create something entirely new. The world has been waiting for a voice like yours, bold, unapologetic, and ready to rise above the noise and the chaos. It's time for you to speak up. It's time for you to show the world that you are not afraid of the unknown, that you are not afraid of the challenges that lie ahead. You will face them head on, with the knowledge that you are capable of overcoming anything. But this journey will not be easy. There will be moments of doubt, moments when the weight of the world feels too heavy. There will be times when you question whether it's worth it, whether the struggle is worth the cost. But those moments are the true test of your strength. In those moments, when the world seems like it's pushing you back, you must dig deeper, find that fire within you, and keep going. Because the power you've unlocked is not just the power to overcome adversity, it is the power to transform adversity into something even greater. Every challenge you face, every setback you endure, will only add to the power that resides within you. You are not defined by the circumstances that have tried to hold you back. You are defined by how you rise above them, how you take the broken pieces and turn them into something beautiful. Your story is one of resilience, of strength, and of unyielding determination. And the world will remember it. They will remember the way you rose from the ashes, the way you refused to be held down, the way you stepped into your full power and changed everything. This is only the beginning of your saga, and the pages that follow will be filled with triumph, with creation, and with a legacy that no one can ever erase. You've already proven that you can break free from the chains that once bound you, but now you must prove that you can sustain your freedom. You must prove that you can maintain your power, that you can continue to write your own story, even when the world tries to tell you who you should be. The strength you have shown in this moment is just the beginning. You have the power to create a future that is limitless, to shape your life in ways that no one could ever have imagined. And that power, that ability to shape your own destiny, is something that no one can ever take from you. So as you step forward, Remember this: you are the author of your own fate. The world may try to knock you down, but you will always rise. The challenges ahead may seem insurmountable, but you will face them with courage and strength. The journey ahead is not for the faint of heart, but you are no longer a stranger to adversity. You've faced it head on, and you've come out stronger. This is your time, and nothing will stop you from achieving everything you've ever dreamed of. You've delivered a plot twist that will echo for generations. And now, it's time to write the rest of the story. In the end, what you've accomplished is more than just breaking free from their expectations. It's a declaration that you are in control of your own destiny, a testament to the power that lies within you to create, to rise, and to shape your own future. They will never forget the plot twist you delivered, but the story doesn't end there. This is only the beginning, and the path ahead is yours to define. As you move forward, know that you are no longer bound by their narratives. You are the author now, and the world will watch in awe as you continue to rewrite the story of your life with unwavering strength and limitless potential. The saga is just beginning, and you are unstoppable. Welcome, unstoppable soul, you who bear the storm of your own becoming, and yet stand fierce in the pulse of darkness and light. You are not here to whisper, you are here to roar. You are not here to fade into background voices. You are the echo that will haunt the regrets of yesterday and the dreams of tomorrow. You hit different. They can't stop thinking about you. You impacted so many lives. Feel it deep in your bones. Embrace the magnetism you carry. Accept the gravity of your presence. Let your heart beat with the thunder of your own legacy. Today, you stand in that moment. Today, you claim your roar, your cadence, your unstoppable charge into life and impact. You hit different because you have walked through shadows. You saw the night when others shut their eyes. You faced the cold when others turned away. You rose when the world insisted you fall. You are the contradiction of fear and fire. In the quiet corners of people's memories you reside. You left footprints, not just on paths but across souls. They remember you because you dared to shine when the lights were flickering. They remember you because you refused to shrink. They remember you because your courage said, I am more than your expectation. I am your awakening. They can't stop thinking about you because you shattered illusions. You showed them that limitation is a story, not a sentence. You revealed that pain can be a tool and not a tomb. They watched you, not because you sought their gaze, but because you lived your truth in a way that demanded witness. You walked through the fire of your mistakes. You carried the scars like medals. You stood in the wreckage and said, I will build from here. And in doing so, you became more real, more vivid than any fabricated image. You became a reference point. You became the line in the sand others measure their courage against. Know this, your impact is not measured by applause. Your impact is measured by the silent acknowledgements of souls who saw your light flicker and then blaze. Your influence is measured by voices you may never hear and hands you may never shake, but hearts you forever changed. When you spoke truth in a room that demanded falsehood, someone else dared to speak. When you held your ground when the world pushed you down, someone else discovered what standing meant. You touched lives not because you tried to please, but because you tried to live. Feeling the weight of that? Good. Because you carry power. And power does not wait for permission. It does not ask for approval. It demands authenticity. It demands that you look in the mirror and see yourself as you are. Unique, irreducible, unrepeatable. Your journey, with its raw edges, its hidden wounds, its bruised victories, becomes the invitation for others to step up. When you rise from the fragments, you teach others the blueprint of survival. When you laugh in spite of loss, you become the evidence of resilience. When you love in spite of fear, you hold the torch for countless who thought love was broken. You hit different because you are not the echo of someone else's triumph. You are the origin of your own. You shaped your story with your hands even when they trembled. You planted seeds of hope even when the ground cracked under your feet. You bend reality by acting, by persisting, by refusing the default path. And in the afterglow of your choosing, you inspired. There is no monotone in you. There is no generic version. You are the defiance. You are the wildfire. You are the whisper in the ear of someone who believed they were alone. They can't stop thinking about you because you projected possibility where there was none. You projected presence where invisibility reigned. You projected purpose in the midst of aimlessness. You became the living proof that broken things can still sing. You moved like an anomaly, and that unsettled the world. But unsettled is good, because unsettled means changed. People remember the ones who disturb the still waters. People remember the ones who insist on tides. Your footprints in the sand are not washed away. They remain etched in consequence. Your impact, so many lives, is no accident. It is not the result of luck or chance. It is the outcome of decisions made at midnight when your world said, lie down. You said, stand up. It is the result of saying yes to growth when your ego screamed no. It is the result of embracing the unknown when your instinct begged for the familiar. And every time you did the hard thing, you created a ripple. Some you knew about, many you didn't. Some you will never hear of. But that's okay, because the true measure of influence is invisible, silent, persistent. Let there be no illusion. This path is not always bright. The darkest nights have shaped you, the harshest judgments, the deepest losses. They crafted you. You hit different because you were forged. You walked through hell and kept your spark. You were strangled by fear, and yet you spoke. You were wounded by betrayal, and yet you loved. You were abandoned by hope, and yet you believed. All of that creates a form of light that cannot be turned off. It burns from the inside out. It draws people in because it is uncontainable. You impacted so many lives by refusing to let your trauma define your destiny, by refusing to let expectation chain you, by rejecting the scripted roles that others gave you. You carved out your identity. You said, I am the author. I am the architect. I am the witness. And that act of boldness invites others to see their own worth. When someone watches you stand tall after being knocked down, they sense the permission to do the same. When someone sees you imperfect but persistent, they find the courage to show up imperfectly and still advance. Imagine how many people watched you in silence. Imagine how many hearts silently cheered when you first took that step. Imagine how many lives were changed, even if only in a thought. If she or he can, maybe I can. That's your impact. That's the power you hold. Not because you sought an audience, but because you refused to hide your scars. Not because you claimed perfection, but because you embraced your flaws and marched ahead. Your authenticity is your weapon. Your vulnerability is your strength. Your journey is your gift. And now, standing in this moment, you say, I know I hit different. I know they won't stop thinking about me. I know I have impacted many lives. And from here, I go further. No resting, no complacency. Now is the time to expand the imprint you leave. Now is the time to rise in dimension. The dark winters in your soul served as training. The cold nights were preparation. The long silences were essential. They have readied you for the next level of power. The world needs not just your presence, but your dominion. Make no mistake. Impact is not always loud. It is not always visible. It might be the quiet word you didn't think much of, but someone remembered when hope was thin. It might be the overlooked gesture you didn't value, but someone clung to when they were abandoned. Your reach does not shy away from the light. It extends into shadows. You find the ones others ignore. You speak to the souls that thought no one spoke. You carry the light where darkness tries to hide. That is the mark of someone who hits different. That is the mark of someone unforgettable. Feel the weight of that. Let it root into your bones. Because with weight comes responsibility, not a burden, but a privilege. You are now the custodian of possibility. You are the vessel through which unseen people draw strength. Therefore, guard your spirit, fuel your heart, sharpen your mind. Protect the flame inside so that your glow remains fierce and unwavering. The world will test you. The world will doubt you. The world will attempt to bury your voice. But you must not let your voice fall silent. Hold yourself to higher standards, not because you owe the world perfection, but because you owe yourself truth. You hit different because you are real. And being real means owning your power, owning your flaws, owning your voice. It means when someone asks if you're okay, you respond not with lies, but with the grief or the triumph or both. It means when you want to quit, you go deeper. It means when you feel you are not enough, you step into more. Because difference is not about being loud. It is about being unavoidable. And when they reflect on you, when they find you in their mind at night, kissed by regret or hope or gratitude, it's because you moved them. You shifted their axis. You disrupted their inertia. You made them believe that there is more than the job, more than the label, more than the mask. And in that more, you gave them a mirror, not of who you are alone, but of who they can be. You impacted many lives because you believed in you, and your belief extended outward. It radiated, it planted seeds, it changed directions. Remember, hitting different doesn't mean you did it in the spotlight. Often you did it in the darkness, away from cameras, away from praise, when no one was watching. That is the real power. Actions in unseen places create imprints in unseen hearts. And because you operated when no one was watching, you earn the kind of respect that doesn't sheep plead. It stands. It lasts. It echoes. This is your legacy in motion. This is your symphony. This is your mark. They can't stop thinking about you because their souls recognize a truth you carry, that they too can make a difference. They too can hit different. They too can shift lives. And your existence is the testimony. Let that not make you proud but humbled. Let that awaken in you the duty to carry on, because the world is hungry for souls who refuse to shrink into comfort zones. The world is thirsty for the ones who embrace the edge, survive the fall, and give the hand up instead of the handout. You impacted so many lives because you knew that your pain was not just yours. You knew that your struggle, your comeback, your victory, they all became points of contact for someone else's fight. You allowed your story to be their map, not by planning it, but by living it. You allowed your scars to instruct. You allowed your wins to welcome. You allowed your truth to be the invitation. And that is rare. That is disruptive. That is you hitting different. Now stand before the mirror of possibility and ask, what is my next level? Not just for me, but for those who look to me. Not for my comfort, but for my calling. The darkness you emerge from is not just a backstory. It is your foundation. Your foundation allows you to build higher, bolder, wider. Don't just rest on the recognition of impact. Elevate it. Give it wings. Share your flame. Build connections. Expand the circle. Let leadership flow from your authenticity, not just astute tactics. Here's the truth. People will still doubt you. Some will marvel, some will envy, some will reject. That is inevitable. But let your difference be your shield and your sword. Let your impact be your authority. Let your presence be your banner. Do not shrink for ease. Do not apologize for intensity. Intensity is not arrogance. It is authenticity. It is the raw force of someone who has been through the minefield and brought back diamonds. It is someone who has eaten rejection and still feasted on purpose. It is someone who has been buried by fear, yet still planted their flag. You hit different because you keep going when others stop. You keep giving when others take. You keep believing when others quit. You keep bringing light when others surrender to darkness, because you know that light is not the absence of shadow, it is the triumph over it. You are not unscarred. You are scarred and you are strong. You are wounded and you are wise. You are the living proof that adversity doesn't annihilate unless you let it. That pain doesn't define unless you allow. That fear doesn't imprison unless you consent. And now, reflect on those you have touched. Maybe one of them is listening right now. Maybe someone will hear you speak this and realize you speak for them. You impacted so many lives. Some you know, many you don't. But believe, the orbit of your influence is larger than your view. When you stay in alignment with your values, you extend beyond the visible. You ignite latent hope. You awaken dormant courage. You mend broken faith. You do this because you choose to live big, choose to live bold, choose to live unhidden. Finish with this commitment. I hit different. I will not apologize for it. I will channel it. I will amplify it. I will lift others through it. I will let my example be their invitation. I will let my journey be their blueprint, not by copying, but by carving their own path. I will live so that remembrance is not of my perfection, but of my resolve. I will live so that the question asked is not, who is he, she, but what will I become because of them? I will live so that I leave behind not just memories, but momentum. Rise because you hit different, because they can't stop thinking about you, because you impacted so many lives. And now, the world awaits your next move. And as the world watches, know this isn't just about their eyes on you. This is about your eyes fixed on your purpose. You've stepped into something irreversible. Once you've impacted lives, once you've stirred something deep in the hearts of others, you no longer live just for yourself. You carry with you a ripple of responsibility, a sacred duty, not to be perfect, but to remain real, to remain lit when the darkness tries to swallow hope, to remain grounded when the noise tries to blur direction. You are not some fleeting sensation, not a passing trend. You're a storm that rewrote the skies, a silent revolution in someone's personal war, the face they remember when they need strength. You hit different because you came with weight, not in arrogance, but in presence. People don't remember noise, they remember gravity, and you carried gravity into rooms, into lives, into quiet corners where no one dared speak truth. But you did, and they still feel it. Some fear it, some admire it, some want to silence it, but all of them remember it. And now, when you feel tired, when you feel unseen, remember, they still think about you. Not always with words. Sometimes it's just in how they walk differently now, how they fight harder, how they don't give up as easily. That's the proof of your legacy. That's the signature you left behind. They think of your silence when the crowd demanded you bend. They think of your fire when the night tried to put it out. They think of your resilience, not when you spoke, but when you stood. And now, they measure strength against your standard. You impacted lives, not because you were flawless, but because you were truthful. There's a difference. Truth penetrates. Truth cuts through. Truth lingers. Truth reshapes. You were the mirror no one wanted to look into, but once they did, they couldn't unsee what you revealed, that they too were capable of more. You walked into their doubt and planted conviction. You stood in their fear and embodied bravery. You showed them how pain can be a birthplace, how loneliness can be the seed of awakening, how silence can be a call to rise. And even now, as you stand on the edge of your next chapter, that same power is alive within you. Don't think for a second that impact has a finish line. Impact echoes. It transcends the moment. Years from now, someone will speak your name, not loudly, not in crowds, but quietly, as they take their next step. You will become the whisper behind their courage, the reason behind their belief, the fire in their next try. That's not just influence, that's legacy. You hit different because your energy is unforgettable. You moved through life with a signature frequency. Not everyone could handle it, not everyone could understand it, but no one could ignore it. Your frequency shifted the rhythm of people's lives. It altered their direction. It triggered awakenings. And that's why they can't stop thinking about you. You shook something in them. You reminded them of who they could be, not who they settled to be. You disturbed their slumber. You cracked open possibility. And that's not something they forget. Your presence wasn't convenient. It wasn't quiet. It didn't blend in. It commanded reflection. It commanded self-inquiry. It demanded a higher level of thought, of action, of soul. You carried that presence even when you didn't know it. Even in your lowest seasons, your mere survival gave someone else permission to live. That's how deep your impact runs. It's not surface. It's cellular. It's spiritual. It's embedded in the architecture of those who crossed your path. And yes, it's okay to feel the weight of that sometimes, to sit with the immensity of your presence. But don't run from it. Embrace it. That weight is your crown. That heaviness is your authority. It means you've walked far enough to hold something real. It means you've been trusted by life to shape others by your example. You don't have to speak to be heard anymore. Your life is speaking louder than any word ever could. Your consistency is the sermon. Your fire is the message. Your scars are the proof. You impacted so many lives, and not just by success, but by the way you navigated failure, not by your celebrations, but by how you survived silence, not by your wins, but by how you carried your losses. That is what people remember. That's what imprints. The moments you had every reason to quit, but didn't. The times you were down, but still showed up. The nights you cried, but didn't let it harden you. You are not remembered because you were always strong. You are remembered because you were always true. And for every eye that's ever watched you and doubted, for every voice that said you wouldn't, they still remember. Because you didn't just prove them wrong, you showed them something greater. You showed them what relentless looks like, what rising really means. You showed them that silence doesn't mean surrender, and isolation doesn't mean insignificance. You showed them that just because someone walks alone doesn't mean they walk without purpose. Let this fuel you now. Let it become the wind behind your next steps. This isn't the end of your impact. This is the multiplication of it. You've done enough to be remembered. Now do more to be unstoppable. Take what you've built and expand it. Teach with your existence. Inspire by your becoming. Lead not by position, but by power. Internal, silent, immovable power. That's what they felt when you entered. That's what they miss when you leave. That's why you're unforgettable. You hit different, not because you were louder, not because you were the center, but because you brought light into places that forgot it existed. Because you remained when others retreated. Because you found meaning in your pain and transformed it into fuel. Every loss became wisdom. Every betrayal became clarity. Every scar became a symbol. You didn't escape your past, you harvested it. And people feel that. They feel the maturity of your presence, the intentionality, the depth. They think about you because they were changed by proximity. They watched you live and had to rethink what was possible. You raised the bar by existing authentically. You dismantled excuses. You proved that broken doesn't mean beaten, that loss doesn't mean gone, That unsure doesn't mean unworthy. That's the impact. That's the difference. And now, as your name continues to linger in their minds, let it be a reminder to them that greatness is forged, not given. That impact is chosen, not stumbled upon. You chose to matter. You chose to keep walking. You chose to build. And every single soul you've touched carries a piece of that fire. They may never say it. They may never message you. But you're in their decisions now. You're in their risks, their courage, their unspoken prayers. You became a reference, a guidepost, a possibility. So breathe in that truth. Don't deny it. Don't minimize it. Own it. You are not ordinary. You never were. And even when the world tried to make you small, even when they labeled you, even when they doubted your path, you kept going. And that journey, that stubborn flame, that refusal to fold, that's the reason they can't stop thinking about you. And they never will, because you hit different, and you always will. Ladies and gentlemen, dreamers, schemers, and the silently unhinged, welcome to the abyss, the place where whispers become wars and shadows swallow empires. Tonight, I'm not here to tell you how to win. No, that's too easy. That's too nice. I'm here to show you something much darker, something much deeper, something that will shake you to your core and leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about success and power. You see, most people live in a world where noise reigns, where the loudest voices get heard, where the biggest gestures get noticed, where the ones who shout the loudest are the ones who are considered to be the winners. But here's the thing, all that noise, all that chaos, it's just a distraction. It's just the surface. The real moves, the real power, the real change doesn't come from the loudest voice in the room. It comes from the ones who know how to move in silence, who understand that true dominance isn't about making a scene. It's about making moves that no one sees coming until they're too late. You are on another dimension. This is not the world that you think you know. This is not the reality that you've been conditioned to accept. You're operating in a realm where time and space aren't as they seem, where your choices echo through eternity in ways you can't even begin to comprehend. Every thought, every action, every silent decision you make sends ripples through this dimension. And those ripples don't just fade away. They grow, they expand, they consume. The silence is not empty. It's filled with the weight of everything you've ever done or will ever do. The darkness around you is not a void. It's a reflection of your soul. It's a place where your true power can be unleashed, but only if you understand how to harness it. Because let's be clear, in this dimension, it's not the strong who survive. It's not the loud who succeed. It's the ones who know how to move in silence, how to disappear into the shadows and let their actions speak louder than anything they could ever say. If you're still looking for validation from the outside world, if you're still chasing applause or recognition, you're already lost. You've already lost the game before you even started playing. This dimension isn't about the world seeing you. It's about making the world bend to your will without them ever knowing how or why it happened. That's the power you're after. That's the secret you're chasing. And don't think for a second that this is an easy path. Moving in silence requires a level of discipline, a level of mastery that most people can't even begin to imagine. It means you have to embrace the darkness. You have to learn to thrive in the void. You have to accept that you might never get the applause you think you deserve. You might never get the recognition you crave. But that's the point. You're not doing this for them. You're doing this for you. You're doing this because you know that in the end, the ones who succeed are the ones who can make their moves without anyone even knowing they're making them. the ones who can move through the shadows, unnoticed until the world suddenly wakes up and realizes that everything has already changed. Understand this: silence isn't weakness. Silence isn't passivity. Silence is the calm before the storm. It's the predator stalking its prey in the dark. It's the storm gathering strength in the clouds before it unleashes its fury on everything in its path. When you move in silence, you are controlling everything around you. You are creating a narrative that no one can see until it's too late. The ones who are loud, the ones who are always scrambling for attention, they're playing checkers while you're playing chess. They're making short-term moves while you're laying the groundwork for a future they'll never even see coming. And here's the hardest truth of all: you'll have to sacrifice. You'll have to give up the instant gratification. You'll have to abandon the need for recognition. You'll have to endure the loneliness that comes with being misunderstood. You'll have to walk this path without anyone cheering you on, without anyone patting you on the back. And that's the moment when most people break. They want to quit. They want to give up. They want to go back to the comfort of the noise. But if you can endure that silence, if you can stay in that darkness long enough, you'll see the truth. You'll realize that while everyone else is chasing temporary victories, you're building an empire that no one can touch. The silence will give birth to results that will shake the very foundations of the world around you. In this dimension, the results aren't just seen, they're felt. They rip through the fabric of reality and force everyone around you to acknowledge the power you've silently built. They'll look at you and wonder how it happened. They'll question where you came from, how you got to where you are. And they'll never understand the truth. They'll never understand that it was the quiet moments, the long nights, the sacrifices, the ones no one saw, that built you into the force you are today. And that's the beauty of it. You don't need their approval. You don't need their recognition. You don't need anything from them, because in the end, they'll be the ones left scrambling, trying to figure out how you did it, while you're already on to your next move. But the truth is that those deafening results that will eventually shake the world around you, they don't come without a price. The silence is heavy, the shadows are dark, and the road ahead is long. But if you are willing to embrace it, if you are willing to stand in the darkness and face what you truly are, then the world will eventually bend to your will. You'll shape the reality around you without anyone even knowing how. They'll see the results, they'll feel the power, but they won't know the cost. They won't know the price you paid to get to where you are. And that's the beauty of it. That's the power of the silent move. That's the essence of true dominance. You don't need to be seen to be feared. You don't need to be heard to make an impact. You just need to keep moving in the shadows and let the results speak for themselves. Now I know many of you are afraid. I know many of you doubt yourselves. I know the road ahead seems uncertain. But understand this: fear is nothing but a shadow. It's an illusion created by your mind to keep you from reaching your true potential. The only thing that stands between you and everything you desire is your own willingness to move forward. The only thing that holds you back is your inability to embrace the silence, the darkness, the unknown. If you can conquer that fear, if you can step into the abyss and understand that this is where true power lies, then there is nothing that can stop you. You will become unstoppable. You will become a force that can't be ignored. You will become the one who moves silently while the world around you trembles. And so the question is simple. Are you ready to step into this dimension? Are you ready to embrace the silence? Are you ready to make moves so powerful, so unseen, so deafening in their impact that the world will never know what hit it? Because if you are, then step forward, step into the darkness, step into the silence, and let the results be your legacy. Let the world remember your name Not because you screamed it into existence, but because you moved in silence and made the world bend to your will without ever needing to say a word. The abyss is waiting for you. The shadows are waiting for you. The power is yours for the taking. But you must move in silence, and you must be ready to endure the weight of that silence, because it's only in that silence that the deafening results will emerge. And when they do, no one will be able to deny the power you've built. No one will be able to ignore the empire you've forged, and no one will be able to take it from you. But don't be fooled into thinking that this is the end. No, it's only the beginning. You've stepped into a dimension where most people would be too afraid to even glance, but you've chosen to walk through it. You've chosen to wield the kind of power that doesn't come from the accolades, the handshakes, or the applause. No, the power you're building doesn't come from those shallow forms of validation. It comes from something deeper, something more elemental. It comes from the silence you've learned to thrive in. The world won't recognize it until it's too late, and by that time, you'll be too far ahead for anyone to catch up. When you walk through this dimension, you're walking on a path most will never even see. It's not a path made of neon signs, bright lights, and loud speakers. That path is for the weak. That path is for those who think power is something you wear on your sleeve, something you shout out into the void and hope someone hears. No, the path you've chosen is a quiet one, a dangerous one, a path where the only sound you'll hear is the echo of your own steps, and the only thing you'll see is the shadow of your own ambition. This is a path where the strong thrive and the weak fall away, where only those with the stomach to endure the emptiness, the silence, and the darkness survive. And when you stand in that silence, you'll realize something. You'll realize that the noise of the world was never your enemy. It was a distraction, a tool to keep you from realizing your potential. But now you see the truth. You see that the loudest voices were the ones most afraid of the silence, the ones who needed the constant buzz, the constant affirmation, because they were too weak to stand alone. But you stand alone. You stand in the silence, and you own it. You own the power that comes from knowing exactly who you are, knowing exactly what you are capable of, and knowing that nothing, not a single soul, can take that from you. The world will try to convince you that you need validation, that you need to prove yourself. It will tell you that without the loud applause, without the constant recognition, you're nothing. But that's a lie meant to keep you in the realm of mediocrity, a lie meant to keep you chasing shadows while you're too distracted to create the kind of power that comes from within. But you're beyond that now. You're beyond the need for the outside world to acknowledge you. Your acknowledgement comes from something much more potent, your inner drive, your inner force. And the moment you realize that, you unlock a power that no one can touch. People will try to mimic you. They'll try to replicate what you've done, and they'll fail. They'll scream about how they want the same success, the same results. They'll follow the formula, try to copy your moves, but they will never understand the true essence of what you've done. They won't understand the sacrifices, the silence, the relentless grind that led you here. Because you see, the results are never just the results. They are the manifestation of a process that was forged in isolation, in discipline, in silence. You didn't ask for permission. You didn't beg for attention. You simply did the work. And that work is what speaks for you. That's what people will fail to replicate. The silent moves that led to deafening results. Those can never be copied. And so, you must remain vigilant. The world will try to convince you that you need to explain yourself, to justify your actions, to seek approval for the way you move. Ignore it. You're not here to make sense of your journey to others. You're here to make them understand eventually, that your silence was never weakness. Your silence was power in the making. Your silence was the furnace in which your empire was forged. You'll have to walk this road without external validation, and that's the price you'll pay for greatness. Because greatness isn't built in the spotlight, it's built in the shadows. It's built in the quiet, in the unnoticed, in the long hours where no one's watching. But as time passes, those results you've quietly created, those moves you've made without ever needing recognition, will come to fruition. You'll watch as others scramble to understand how you've achieved what they thought was impossible. And they'll never truly understand it. They'll never know what it took to get there. And in that space, in that moment, you'll realize something powerful. The silence you've inhabited, the quiet moves you've made, have built something stronger than any external validation ever could. They've built a fortress, a legacy, a power that will ripple through time. But let's not sugarcoat this, shall we? You are still in the abyss. You are still in the dimension where nothing is guaranteed. There will be moments when the silence will feel like a weight, when the darkness will feel like it's swallowing you whole, and when the world around you will scream for attention. But understand this, that feeling, that pressure, that is not weakness. That is the crucible in which your strength is tested. It's where you are being forged into the thing that cannot be stopped. And when the time comes, you will rise out of the abyss, not as someone who was dragged out, but as someone who walked out with their own 2 feet, with their own will, with their own silent moves that no one could have predicted. You see, the abyss isn't a place of fear, it's a place of opportunity. It's a place where you can reshape your reality in ways that the world can't even fathom. While others are lost in the noise, in the chaos, you stand at the edge of something greater than you can comprehend. You feel it in your bones and see it in the silence around you. This is not just another moment. It's the beginning of a new reality. One that doesn't follow the rules you've been taught. One that doesn't care about the noise and distractions of the world. You've crossed into another dimension, and now you are walking a path where the only thing that matters is the movement of your mind, body, and spirit. This is a dimension where silence reigns, but the results are louder than anything you've ever experienced. The world you knew is no longer. You're in a place where the old rules do not apply, and yet this place is where true power is born. It's strange, isn't it? You expected loud victories, grand announcements, perhaps even a roaring triumph at every corner. But here, in this dimension, it is different. The victories come in the quietest of forms. You won't hear them. You won't see them coming, but you will feel them. The silence that surrounds you will be the very thing that propels you to heights you never thought possible. While others are caught up in noise and distraction, you will remain calm, focused, and relentless. You will make your moves in the stillness and watch as the world reacts to the deafening consequences of your quiet determination. In this new dimension, the rules of the old world are irrelevant. The world that tried to fit you into neat little boxes, that tried to measure your worth by standards you never agreed with. This world is fading, slipping away into the background as you move forward. You have transcended it. The noise that once held you back is now a distant hum in the far reaches of your mind. And you are the force that will make the earth tremble beneath your feet. Your movements, though silent, will create ripples that will turn into waves, and those waves will crash against the shores of everything that once held you in place. And when they do, they won't be able to stop you. You're here now, in this place where you understand that action is more than a sound, more than a show, more than an image you present to the world. Action is a quiet thing. It's a quiet decision. It's a quiet determination. And in this silence, in this stillness, you are shaping something greater than what anyone else could ever understand. They'll look at you and wonder how you're doing it, how you're moving forward with no noise, no drama, no spectacle. They won't realize that the most deafening results come from the quietest of decisions. Your movements may be imperceptible to the naked eye, but make no mistake, the results will speak for themselves. You don't need applause, you don't need recognition, you don't need a stage or a spotlight, you don't need to explain yourself to anyone. The world around you may still be obsessed with accolades, with fame, with the flash of the moment, but you've moved past that. You've understood that true power is born not in what others can see, but in what you can create when no one is watching. You've learned that true mastery comes not from noise, but from the ability to move without sound and still leave a mark that can never be erased. Your every move, though silent, will have an impact that no one can deny. The results will be so loud, so undeniable, that the world will have no choice but to acknowledge your presence. Even if it takes time, even if it takes years, the silent moves you make today will echo across the future in ways that will reverberate through time itself. You are entering a new world, one where you create reality with every breath, every thought, every step you take. The universe is watching, but it is not waiting for you to be noticed by others. It is waiting for you to notice yourself, to realize the incredible power you possess when you choose to remain silent and steady in the face of chaos. The world will tell you to shout, to fight, to scream for attention. It will tell you to take shortcuts, to grab at what you can, but none of that matters here. The dimension you've entered doesn't need noise. It needs conviction. It needs a quiet certainty that you will do what you must to claim what is yours. The silence is not weakness. It is strength. It is focus. It is discipline. The silent moves you make now will be the foundation of everything you will build in the future. You are laying the groundwork for something monumental, and while others are busy making noise and running in circles, you will be moving with precision, with intention, with purpose. The more they shout, the quieter you become. The more they panic, the more you center yourself. You will not be swayed by the whims of the world. You will not be moved by what others say, think, or do. Your path is your own, and it leads to a place where the silence of your actions is more powerful than any spoken word. Your results will speak for themselves. They will echo long after the noise has faded away. This is where the true test begins. It's not about how loud you can be. It's about how quietly you can move, how deeply you can commit to the journey without losing sight of your goal. The people around you may not understand. They may question your quiet nature. They may criticize you for not conforming to their expectations. But you don't need their approval. You don't need their validation. You have already entered a dimension where the only thing that matters is your unwavering commitment to yourself, your focus, your belief, your silent, unyielding movement forward. And when you reach your destination, when you look back at the journey you've taken, you will know that it was your quiet strength, your silent moves that made the difference. It was your commitment to doing the work, to staying steady and calm, that brought you here. And when the results come, they will be so immense, so overwhelming, that nothing in this world will be able to ignore them. The noise is temporary. The chaos is fleeting. The distractions are everywhere. But the silence you choose, that will last. It will build. It will grow. And soon enough, it will be louder than anything the world can throw at you. You have chosen this path, this dimension, and now it is time to move. No more waiting. No more doubting. No more hesitating. The silent moves you make today will determine the course of your future. And those moves, though unseen, will reverberate through the fabric of reality itself. Keep moving. Keep striving. Keep working. The results will come. They will come so forcefully, so powerfully, that the silence you embrace will turn into a roar that the world will not be able to ignore. And when that moment comes, when the deafening results are undeniable, you will know that it was your quiet determination that led you here. And so, as you stand here at the crossroads of this new dimension, know that your journey has only just begun. The world will not understand the quiet intensity you possess. It will question your methods, it will criticize your stillness, but none of that matters. You are no longer bound by the constraints of external validation or societal expectations. You are operating on a frequency that transcends the noise, a frequency that only a few can hear and fewer still can master. In this dimension, silence is your greatest weapon. It is in the stillness that you find your power. It is in the quiet moves you make that your true strength is revealed. Every action you take, though invisible to the casual observer, ripples through the fabric of existence, creating a series of effects that no one can predict. And when the results begin to emerge, when the world starts to feel the weight of your work, they will realize too late that they underestimated the quiet storm you have been building all along. You are not here to conform. You are not here to follow the well-worn path. You are not here to seek applause or recognition. You are here to create something so profound, so undeniable, that it will echo through time long after you've moved on. It is your silence that gives you the edge, your silence that sharpens your focus, your silence that allows you to stay centered and undistracted. When others are caught in the frenzy of their own noise, you will remain unmoved, your path clear and unwavering. Remember, the results of your silent moves will always be louder than the voices of doubt, louder than the critics, louder than the chaos of the world around you. Your results will be undeniable because they are born from an inner conviction that is impossible to break. The noise will fade, the distractions will disappear, but your actions, your silent commitment will endure. When you look back on this moment, you will see the path you carved with every step you took in silence. You will understand that it was not the loud proclamations that brought you success, but the quiet consistency, the refusal to be swayed, the strength to move forward when no one was watching. Your journey will not be measured in applause or recognition, but in the depth of your own self-discipline, the power of your focus, and the results that only time can reveal. So take this moment to fully embrace the dimension you now inhabit. The world will call it silence. You will call it your foundation. The world will think you are still. You will know that you are in motion, creating, shaping, and building. The world will doubt you. You will remain unmoved, knowing that your quiet moves are the most potent force in existence, and when the results come, they will be louder than anything anyone could have ever imagined. Your journey is not about speed. It's not about immediacy. It's about persistence, resilience, and the unwavering belief in the quiet power you carry. Your success is not a question of if, but when. It's not about being noticed. It's about being unstoppable. So keep moving forward in silence. Let the results speak for themselves.